Welcome to the Double Scrubs. We're your hosts, Dr. Scott Curtis.
And Dr. Radhika Sharma, two OBGYN physicians who are not only partners in work, but also partners in life. That's right, we're married, passionate about women's health, and here to share it all with you.
So whether you're here to learn, listen, laugh, or just want to hang out with two people that live and breathe this stuff every day, we're so glad you're joining us.
This is the Double Scrub.
Welcome.
Let's get started. So this is a timely episode. A lot of people we know are in the spring season, but spring break season.
Yeah.
And so
nice?
it is really nice, actually. It's very refreshing because it's like, okay, you can feel the newness, you know? I love opening the doors and hearing the birds and like all that good stuff. It really is some stuff that you didn't actually pay attention to before, but now I opened the door this morning and I'm like, oh, look, there's a little bird that's just sitting outside.
I don't hear a snow machine this morning.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That doesn't mean anything, though, because we live in Wisconsin, so it's only the end of March.
Hmm.
You know, we still get a snowstorm, but that's okay because
Fresh grass season's coming.
fresh grass. So yeah, we replaced snow blowers with lawnmowers,
It's reasonable.
essentially, like right away. There's no lull. Anyways, we wanted to do this episode in real time. We just got back from spring break, literally.
Mhm.
It's
We
been
did.
under just about another 12 hours.
Yeah.
14 hours ago. We had a really good spring break, but I think what we wanted to do is kind of talk about how kind of traveling is, what it means to our family as a dual career household, two docs. People are like, how do you do it? There's a lot of questions of like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you guys do it. And so I thought this was timely because really talking about the importance of checking out a little bit and figuring out how to do that.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people who are like, I don't love going on vacation with my kids. And I get that. I really do. And I'm not going to say that it's not difficult, but I think we've really leaned into learning how to really love going on vacation with our kids. And I do think that there's a, split in the population. Some people are like, I love it. Some people are like, no, can't stand it.
Yeah, I can't imagine not going with them.
Not anymore, right?
Truthfully. I mean, even in the beginning, I don't know that I could.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the way we were raised.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't remember my parents ever going on vacations without us.
Mhm.
And as we became parents and started to realize like all the background work that you just took for granted as a kid.
Mhm.
So yeah.
We just got in the car.
Yeah. Thank you.
Got in the car, go.
All that extra work we were realizing now.
I remember,
What takes so long to pack a camper? I don't get it.
I remember we used to take like these road trips to Myrtle Beach as a family. And what was really funny about that is it would be like, okay, dad's going to wake you up at 6 a.m. and you can choose to brush your teeth or not. And we're going. And somehow the car was magically packed. We each had pillows and blankets and we were off. And then like we would make these stops along the way. And my mom and my aunt would make us sandwiches and things. And I'm like, this is like magic, you know?
Exactly. I mean, we would do the same where it was some twilight hour or it was late in the evening. Either way, it was almost always timed so that we would be sleeping for part of it.
Yeah. Not us. No, we drove through the day.
All day.
All day.
Did you guys get any control of the radio or was it?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I don't even remember what we did, to be honest, in the car. But so, we were going to start with a little bit of kind of a contrast to,
but what do you think makes people, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
No, it's
but
fine.
like, cause you were talking about traveling with kids and traveling without them. Why is it people want to travel without kids? What do you think it is?
It's easier. And
Okay.
and truly, I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah.
I've traveled once without the kids, maybe once.
Okay.
The first time I wouldn't even count. We were going for oral boards and I was
That's
3
not a
weeks
vacation.
but we did. I'm just saying travel with my children. I've traveled once
It's a
without,
work trip.
I've traveled once without twice without the kids. Once it was a road trip with one of my girlfriends, not a road trip, but we went to
Yeah.
Chicago. And the other one was Vegas. And it's just like, you don't have to carry as much for sure.
For sure.
You don't have to worry about snacks, which is really big. Cause like
Sometimes I still have to worry about snacks with you.
Wait,
but yes.
oh yeah, which is funny because we'll get to that. But I don't like worry about, and then I just feel like I'm a little more cautious of like, okay, did we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Are we hydrating? Because there's certain things like with air travel, especially like there's certain windows where like they're not going to get fluids. They're not going to be able to pee. If they have to take a poo, oh, you're in trouble. Like you are in trouble. So all of that stuff that you think about.
Got it.
And then when you're not, you're like, oh, I don't literally, I may not have a carry-on. I might just have a backpack. And there's in that backpack is like stuff for me. Like, I'm not a great sleeper on planes either. So I'm always like, okay, okay, okay. So until they fall asleep, I'm not really off
You're
the
not.
edge. No.
So I see what you're saying. So like when people say they don't want to, it's not that they don't want to travel with the kids. They don't see that as a vacation for them.
And I
A
think a
vacation
lot
for
of
them
the
could
time,
be, I want to go just with either
my
myself
spouse.
or my spouse.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, okay, I'm gonna probably get a little bit of burning for this, but I think it's like what we've turned societal expectations into trips about.
Yeah.
Like, because we're such a planning society and our children are used to like doing things all the time. Sometimes there's that feeling from, people who may say like, well, I have to plan out like everything. And I think that that's also a fallacy that I had to let go of. That's something that I was going to talk about, how
More
things have
time on, yeah.
changed. Yeah, but basically, used to have a fallacy that, especially when, and you can speak to this because our first trip together was to Costa Rica. This was pre-children, and I mean, I am pretty darn type A, and so for me, it was like I need a list of the restaurants we can eat at, the coffee shops we're going to drink at, where we're going to have lunch, where we're going to have dinner. To the point where you and one of my closest friends were revolted and was like, "We're not doing it."
We had to have a mutiny. One more.
You did?
She's like, we're going on, because every day is an epically planned out trip, which to your credit is amazing.
Yeah.
But we were just tired of it. We're like, no, this morning's gonna be breakfast, and we're gonna sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the looking around it, because I'm like, but this is the most famous, and I don't even know, fill in the blank. It was a waterfall or a volcano or something. But we'd already seen all of the most famous before, the day before, the day before that, and we we're done. We're just going to hang out. And it actually turned into a really fun day.
And I think I think even historically speaking, we've been traveling with our kids since they've essentially been born. The trips that I find the most memorable were the ones that I planned for least. Which is very difficult to do as a type A person.
Yeah.
Because as a type A person, right, like I have our weeks planned out, meaning I know what meals we're eating. I know what lunches the kids are taking, what lunches I'm taking, what days we're getting groceries. I have written down all of their appointments, my appointment, Scott's appointment. Like it's just so calculated. So to turn that off when you're on vacation is actually a challenge for most people. I would say whether you're a mom or a dad, it doesn't really matter. And part of it, I think, and again, this is something that I thought was interesting, is like, as someone who's an OB/GYN, do you think that plays into a little bit of why it's hard? Do you find it? Have you ever found it hard to turn off on vacation?
All the time. I remember I used to bring my laptop every time.
Yeah.
Even if the laptop never got opened, even if I never plugged the power cord in.
Yeah.
I just did this weird, like, well, but what if I need to check a lab, or what if I need to send a document or an email? And the first couple of trips of not bringing, that little crutch, my security blanket, was a little terrifying. And then it became more gratifying. And now like even this last trip we went on, I want to say I pulled out my phone for photos only. I didn't do anything else other than see photos. Maybe a phone call.
And do you think that you feel, because I think that this is a really important point for anyone who's, either a doctor or a nurse or a nurse practitioner or in the healthcare industry. I mean, I probably could even say in the finance, or if you're in financial planning, like, what do you think is the hardest thing about not staying connected with your office or your patients? And what is the best way you got around it?
I think my concern is like, if I'm not connected, are they losing out on care? Like, meaning, am I missing the ball on something, a pathology report, or if someone got sick, did a medication make it to the pharmacy? Did a surgery get planned? For me, it was delegating, like allowing trust in my partners or my partner now to really, I know he's great. I know he can do everything I can do. I know my office is great. I know the girls at the front will get people scheduled when they can. And I know my medical assistants, they do so much work in the background that like allows it to work, as long as I empower them to do that. If I'm constantly looking over their shoulder, well, did you order that medication right? Did you just, let me just order it. It's like, no, that's not going to work.
And I think some of it, and tell me what you think about this. I think some of it is very much an ego thing.
100%.
And part of it is we care so deeply about our jobs.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, it's not like you get paid to check your labs when you're gone. Nobody's right. I mean, one of the place that I work for right now, we have the ability to pull up stuff when we're away,
Yeah.
on our phones. And actually, I think to some extent, like I had to until Friday, I had to not touch it because I know what ends up happening is the minute I touch it, now I feel like I want to get involved and invested. And some of it, is depending on who you're working with, trust in your partners. I completely agree with you. I totally trust my partners. Whatever they do, they're going to do in the best interest of my patient. But I think some of it is guilt on you feel like you're abandoning your patients, right? And you need to remember that the best way we can heal others is to be sure that we're giving to ourselves and healing ourselves. And I think that that's a point that a lot of people have a hard time doing.
Yeah. In a lot of areas of our life, right?
A lot of areas.
I mean, think about
the control, right? Control.
Yeah, even with our kids, like the idea that we can't control everything they do or everything they learn. Like we entrust a lot of the stuff in schools, like and with the teachers. And so, I mean, to take the analogy from patients and patient care to like even our own children, imagine if you were trying to like do every single thing for them all the time. I'm gonna teach them math. I'm gonna teach them reading. I'm gonna teach. No, I need to teach them how to color within the wall. Like so many different little lessons. Are like, no, we have to allow others to do stuff.
Yeah, and I think that it also takes me back to especially the trips where, and I was listening to a podcast about this, interestingly enough, how it actually, if you can like look at the lens of the trip through your own eyes rather than through like a phone or a camera, because everything is so accessible and easy now. I will tell you, I am an incessant picture taker. You know that. 500 pictures at least this trip, at least. But I will
Is that how many you got?
Yeah, something between the two of us, it was like 5 or 550. And I will
With
say,
only 4 of Aria. Aria is our youngest, and she'll definitely call the number.
no, I think she's doing well this time.
Did she?
Shoot, we have a long Aria picture. I don't get smiles, but we got
at a certain number. She's like, I'm not smiling anymore, which is kind of nice because like she's our level of like, all right, guys, you're stop recording, start being here in the moment.
And so I was listening to this podcast and Arthur Brooks was on it, and he was saying actually there's been ways to measure pleasure when you actually put your phone down during vacations and actually enjoy the moments rather than using cameras.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. And his suggestion was, if anyone listened to this podcast, I think it was with, I don't remember who it was with, but it was Arthur Brooks. And he was saying, give one person, if you go with a group, give one person the responsibility to take pictures a day. So everybody else has to put their phones down.
Oh, that's
one
cool.
person. And to be honest with you, I am pretty much the designated, like, okay, we'll take a picture, we'll take a picture. But I also can tell.
But then you make me take it with my phone.
I have more pictures on my phone from this trip than you do. It's like a 3-to-1 easily.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't take my phone out of time.
You didn't. And so I think that that's important too, as healthcare providers, or, if you're in the healthcare field or if you're in finance or wherever, is really being able to disconnect.
Anyone that goes on a vacation, just the disconnect. I love it. And then, the other thing I love is like being in the moment, focusing on, and this is why, I guess why, when you asked that original question, traveling with family, they only stay in these moments for so long. And being the age they're in right now, we've put so much work and effort into like these ski trips over the years. And now they're just getting to that level where they want to go off. They want to go off the trail into the trees.
Oh yeah.
They want to drag us along.
Yeah.
They're not quite good enough yet. So it becomes work for us, but it was just magical.
Well, that's good segue to traveling with kids. So just so everybody knows, we have younger children, but we've been doing this for the last 4 years. This is our 4th year in Banff that we've gone skiing with them. Logistics of traveling with a 5 and a 7-year-old. I mentioned, Scott asked me, well, why do you think people enjoy traveling with kids more? And my answer was, it's hard. Mix of traveling with these kids, 5 and 7, going on a ski trip internationally. What do you think sets us up for success from literally the packing to the execution? How do you think? Because now I actually feel like, sure, it's hard.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like we do it really well.
It's probably repetition.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I think about, so my family trip every year used to be going to a lake in Idaho called Redfish Lake.
Hmm.
And, I don't remember the first couple years, but I'm sure it was a total gong show
Hmm.
of just, what did we forget? What did we not bring?
Hmm.
What could we have brought that would have made it so much better the next time? And then as little family members,
Mm.
we started to help throughout the years. We would start to help try to pack things. We even started to try to help unload things. And it probably got easier for my parents along the way.
Hmm.
And I think we're starting to hit that inflection point. The first couple of years, like they couldn't do a thing. And we're overpacking everything because we don't know what we need.
Hmm.
Do you stay warm? Do you wear something nice out to a rest?
I do think it's challenging, though. It's actually more challenging with a cold trip than a warm trip
For sure.
because
There's
you
a
have
lot of bigger
so much
things.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. And then where to go, where to stay.
Hmm.
Think of the different hotels we've stayed
Yeah.
in where it was like, oh man, like this place smells like an ashtray. Remember that one year the toilet backed up on us and it was like
Or we thought our
almost
food
almost
would fall
midnight.
down the stairs and die.
Yeah, that's screwed. The spiral staircase.
Yeah.
So just little things like over the years, like, wait, and you've done a really good job about this. Like, we are going to stay at this hotel because this hotel is nice
Well, I think the
and it's comfortable
hotel,
for us and it meets all of our needs.
yeah. And so I think part of where the trip planning becomes really successful is when we start planning this trip, we often will be like, sit down together and say, all right, this is the number of days we're going to ski for. So we make it, I'm not going to lie, set your expectations appropriately because when we started skiing, Scott's like, we're going to put in 8-hour days and the kids are going to do and this and that. And I'm like, Scott,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something.
On a 6-day trip, 5 days. Remember, that's what I thought. We were going to ski
And
for
I was
5
like,
days.
so if you want your children to ever ski again,
Yeah.
that's not gonna. So I mean, part
Which
of
was
it is
good.
like,
I'm glad you. I'm glad you.
especially if you're an adventure seeker, good for you. You want to go surfing? Your kids aren't going to surf for 5 days. I'm sorry, guys. Like,
Maybe not in the beginning.
maybe not in the beginning, but maybe not. And if not ever, that's okay too. You have to realize that when we set these expectations on these trips, it's not like, I just think that that's part of it. We sit down and we say, this is the number of days we're going to ski for. If we're not going to ski outside of those days, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, not over planning and
Right.
saying,
Make some flex days where
make
it's
some
like,
flex days.
if we're going to, well, so we even did that on this trip, right? We had
100%.
3 days we knew we were going to ski.
Yep.
Our 4th day was a flex day,
Mhm.
which, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it'd be a lot of fun to ski. And especially this year where it was
Oh, you pushed
so
for it.
good.
You pushed for it
But
a little bit.
But you had a nice alternative option. And then as you could see, I mean, I could see it. You and the girls were starting to get tired. I'm like, no, we had 3 epic days of skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Let's go do an après day. And that turned out to be amazing.
So
Lake
logistics
Louise, if you've never been there, check it out. It's
and
pretty cool.
logistics of skiing, I would say, make sure you know that you're going to have to pack a lot of bags, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Get the gear for your kids. Please don't not have the gear for your kids because a warm kid is a happy kid. If they get cold, they're not skiing anymore. They're done.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, those are just logistics. We talked a little about trip planning. What went sideways? Did anything go sideways this trip that you?
That's true.
Yeah, or I guess we've done.
Well, I mean, I think and this is something that's helped over the years as we keep doing it, is we talk a lot more before the trip. And
Mhm.
so any of the wrinkles are really worked out before we even go.
Oh yeah.
Like I was thinking we were going to make some stops before and after. And you were like, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to go right up to the resort. And that turned out to be the best thing. And I didn't realize all the extra stress it was adding because we would spend time with family,
Which is
was
wonderful.
amazing.
Yeah.
But it always led to then a late night. So we're now going to be sleep deprived, starting out the ski vacation.
Mhm.
And we've got to unpack and repack.
Mhm.
And then usually we were coming back and doing that again
Mhm.
before we were flying back. And so it was a lot of extra stops where it's like, no, it's almost better to get to your vacation point,
Mhm.
unload.
Yep.
And then that's where you are.
That's just your point.
Yeah.
Or point of contact, I should say. So we've been on this trip where we got there and I think it was 2 years ago, our little one had like 103-degree fever and I was throwing up in the restaurant in the morning.
I remember that. Yeah.
And we were supposed to ski that afternoon. And I remember us just being like, oh my gosh. And so I think just understanding children are children.
Did you ski that day though?
She did ski.
I remember
It
that,
was
yeah.
crazy.
She puked.
We didn't think she was going to. We were like, "There's no way." And I was like, "Scott, I don't think it's a good
She
idea."
did.
She started crying because she wanted to ski.
Yeah.
And so, and then the other thing that's made these vacations really helpful is really getting the kids involved and excited about it. Like, what stickers do you want to put on your helmet? What snacks do you want to take with us in your pockets? And so and when this time we picked a new hill. So picking the new hill. So getting them excited about the gondola we take up the new hill. Really, talking it up for your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you can, like somebody said, I hate, and this is no judgment, but I remember when we were up on the mountain, there was a dad at the end of the day. He was just yelling at his kids, like, "I'm tired. I'm done with this. We're getting in the car. Let's go." We all have our moments of weakness, and that is okay.
Yeah.
Just remember,
Who knows what that kid did before?
God knows. But I was going to say,
Might need it
just
a little.
maybe, but just remember that like things are not going to go to plan completely.
Mhm.
Be okay to shift, and that's what makes it more fun. If you're like, okay, we're supposed to do this on this itinerary day, and we're not going to be able to do it, or like, you know what? If Scott had his choice, we would be in the car ready to get to the mountain at 7:30 and be sitting in the parking lot at 8 and be the first ones on the gondola at 10 after 8. Like, if it was up to you, that would be the truth. But I was like,
100%. Well, especially with that snow. I mean,
it's incredible.
it was the type of like huge pillow snowflakes that are falling.
Oh, it looks like you're in a.
There's no wind.
Looks like you're in a snowball.
It's totally chill, and you're just like, oh, whoever gets first tracks, this is gonna be magical. But they're not at that age.
Yeah.
And you're right. Pushing them at this point would make it so that I would never get that moment with them, because we'll have that moment.
Yeah.
5-10
So,
years.
is there anything that you think was unplanned this trip that became like the best part of the trip?
That was unplanned. Well, I think, I mean, you had planned some of it, but you hadn't planned all of it completely. But really walking out on Lake Louise when it was frozen.
I think that was one of those
kind of,
core memories for me.
yeah,
like,
just kind of wandering around, and like there was no point to it other than just we're standing in, which I love those mountains. So we're standing into these mountains. The kids are running around, climbing on little snowmen and other little mounds of snow that people had rolled. And, Radek is taking photos, and I'm just kind of taking it all in. And then we have this like nice lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just very peaceful. And it was like, this wasn't even skiing. This was the après component.
Yeah.
But it was actually really nice. And I was not planning on that. I didn't think that was going to be a big memory for me on this trip, but it was.
So part of it, I remember when we got in the car to drive to Lake Louise that day, because we've been going for 3 full days of skiing, I was kind of like, oh, is this a bad idea? Because the kids were tired that morning after 3 days of skiing. Got in the car, they're a little whiny about it, which again, I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I would be whiny too. You're not sleeping in your own bed. You're not eating normally, all of that stuff. But I was like, okay, no, let's switch the gears. Let's not think that this is, and then we got there and I'm like, okay, it's a little cold. But I actually had to remind myself that there was something beautiful in all of this chaos in itself too.
Oh, yeah.
And just stepping back and being like, sure, there's going to be chaos. Sure, your kids are going to be hungry. And then, as you said, just wandering, we've never walked on Lake Louise, but that was one of those things like, this is crazy. And this is something that I'm going to remember forever. I remember the girls were running hand in hand and all of this. And we didn't do a darn thing. No. We didn't build a snowman. We didn't cross country ski. We didn't do, but I would agree that was probably one of my favorites. And then something else that was a hiccup that happened, 2 things that happened that stand in my mind that, like, I don't want anyone to think that like everything goes 100% all the time. Yeah. Definitely not. We definitely, but one thing that went kind of awry was that we left on the way down on the gondola, we left Aria's boots in her daycare. So like that just added another like 20 plus minutes. And I was hungry and cold, which that's what Scott means. If anyone gets hungry and cold, it's me. And then I got to
Mama Bear's not happy then.
Ain't nobody happy. So then we had to like switch gondolas, and then we had to like that. So that, but actually we created a really fun thing about it, and the kids were able to go with it. And then the second one, which again, I think it's because we've done this a few times, was our last run skiing. We got stuck we got to the top of the lift, and it was a whiteout. It was a true
Oh,
whiteout.
the way it came up.
You
Yeah.
couldn't see 10 feet in front of you.
No.
And so we have these little kids, and we're coming down this mountain, and there's wind everywhere, and you cannot see down the mountain at all. And I could see the apprehension in our older daughter's face, because she's very good about noticing when something's, and our younger daughter loses her glove and she's crying. But I think because we both, I think it takes me back to when, Dr. Becky says, like, you need to be the sturdy captain of the ship. Like, we both just had to be like, okay. And then
You'll be fine.
we made it down, and there were tears from the little one, and you could tell there's apprehension from
But
the
she
older one.
skied even with her
But she
tears.
skied
And I
down
was
with
like, well,
tears.
you've got the muscle memory to keep your form even while you're crying. This is good.
But I was like, this is when you have to really like dig and be like, we're going to make this vacation amazing, even when things go wrong.
Yeah. But did you notice even at the bottom of that run, I picked her up and I took her over a jump.
Oh, I wasn't with you because we in the care.
And then suddenly the tears are gone and she wanted to brag to her sister.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, a little bit of, it's a low risk, high reward, stress for them.
How do you and me handle stress differently when, like, we have to be on, but we're also exhausted?
Yeah.
Okay, I will say the exhaustion wasn't.
How do we handle stress differently?
Yeah.
Well, it's how do we handle stress?
I will say, I'm not gonna lie, like, I historically have been a yeller, but I think I've worked really hard on that, and
like that gets your stress out too.
I think I just start to get really
Just
anxious, and
emotionally.
I start emotionally like just wah. But I've realized with time that does not help at all. If anything, it makes the kids nervous, makes me more anxious. But I think this is funny because, a lot of the things was like, people, aren't you exhausted? Aren't you exhausted? The one thing we learned in this trip was like, that we haven't done historically on these trips is we got 8 to 8.5 hours of sleep every single night.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
And I know people don't do that, but especially as
we've never done that. This was the first time.
Nope. And especially as medical professionals who enter these trips exhausted,
yeah,
the best way I can say that you can make it through a physically demanding trip is like, get your sleep, let the kids sleep, nap if you need. Everybody took naps, put your feet up.
We usually do that on beach vacations, or we
nap, but that's because we're like heat exhaustion.
They were napping, we'd nap.
But we still do because they get too hot and they want to go to
siestas.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that we were sleeping like 8.5 hours a night, I didn't feel as exhausted as I've felt historically.
Well, it goes back to that idea of sleep.
Yeah, but back to the question: how do we handle stress differently, especially while we're on vacations?
Yeah, well, you maybe. Okay. I mean, if you want to say yelling, sure. But you'll communicate everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably under communicate. I'll just like try to bury it down that no, keep stepping forward.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think both of those can be bad in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I may just keep pushing forward when it's like, no, I need to listen to the people around me. And we got to take a break or we got to like change course. Whereas I'll just be stubborn and be like, no, we're going to continue and going to push through it. And it'll all be fine. And,
I have verbal diarrhea.
You may be bringing up stuff like they weren't even complaining about that. Why are we bringing that up? So, we find that balance of like, hey, maybe don't bring up
the elephant in the room.
This little thing that they haven't even noticed yet. And maybe, hey, Scott, pay attention. Like your kid over here is missing a glove, trying to go down the mountain.
Do we have non-negotiables for family travel? Are there certain things that we always do, always bring, always protect?
Non-negotiables. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. I think we're learning in a dual physician household and a dual career household. Finding time, even if you go on a trip with like a big family, which we think is fun as well, or with friends, like finding something for the nuclear family together to do.
It's just us.
It's
just the four.
So I think that's something that I'm learning because I grew up in an environment where we always had extended family.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it being lovely. And also I'm starting to realize that like, especially with our careers, with both of us being away at different times, not necessarily being able to connect with one another all the time.
Yeah.
That time with the four of us is when things really get shared in a different way because now, you're not at home. You're not in these four walls. You're not in a protected space. you're actually in a area where you have to listen to each other
Yeah.
and you have to talk.
Well, I agree with you completely. And then the focus can be on just, I mean, because if you're going with your kids, you really want to focus on just them.
Mhm.
And then there you go. You just make it about them. But having, other family members there on other trips, it is
It's
fun.
wonderful.
And then even on this trip, I mean, so even though we couldn't or we didn't stop at the relative's house, we still met up with them before we headed out, which was great.
I love seeing them.
Because then we still got a chance to see them, but it didn't also put that extra layer of stress of unpacking, repacking. I think my non-negotiable has really been different environments that I want to be at, and probably yours too. Like you've always said, you're a beach person, and so non-negotiable is a beach trip for you, and for me, it's usually a mountain trip, and I think we've stuck to that very well.
And I think it's interesting, especially in, I don't want to use the word conflicting, but when people have different desires,
Yeah.
just realizing like, I think the other thing that has made it so joyous, because like I'm such a warm person, like I like the warmth. People are like, don't you just hate being cold and wet? But it's that like I enjoy being active, number one. And this was the hardest I'd ever worked on a ski trip, I'll tell you that. Like
She used to go to she'd bring her gym clothes on the ski trip. And I'm like, what do you need that? Well, I need to get a workout. I'm like, okay, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Yeah.
You had two little 40-pound kettlebells you had to like push around.
And I mean, every year, you're challenging me more. And so like learning to really challenge yourself and grow and be like, I'm going to learn something new. So really kind of keeping your mind open, because you've done the same, right? I'll be like, okay, we're going to go on a beach trip and we're going to go shelling and now we're going to snorkel. And now, hopefully we hope to scuba dive with the kids one day and things like that. So just really being like, okay, it doesn't have to always look the same.
Yes.
Be open to seeing things differently.
And I've learned to, wear sunscreen and other
Yeah.
forms of protection.
He used to
I don't
like
have
sit on an umbrella for 8 hours. I was like,
They're like,
okay,
there's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
She's like, come out. I'm like, why? So I can burn? Not fun.
No. And so we got the proper stuff. And yeah, really equipping yourselves. So why is rest a skill for high achievers? Because generally high achievers are not great at vacationing. They really are.
Well, vacation or sleep, you just see it. At least in my mind, I see it as time I could be doing something else. Like it's the wrong word, but it's wasted time.
And giving yourself the permission to be like, actually, by disconnecting, I'm going to get the rest, reset, and relaxation that my body deserves. Even if your mind, your brain can be like, I can make it through anything. I can do this every single day. And there are a lot of people who are of the theory, you don't need to go on vacation. There are lots of people.
Well, if you don't enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that sometimes if you're not enjoying it, why aren't you enjoying it? Really asking and doing the work to be like, how can I make this restful and enjoyable? If that means vacationing without your kids, that's okay too. It's just making sure that you can step away and disconnect.
You've picked the wrong vacation, Donald.
Disconnect from your phone. Disconnect. It's okay to disconnect from the news a little bit. It's okay to disconnect from the happenings around the world.
It's a good.
It's okay. Yeah, we didn't watch the news once, which was actually very refreshing because we are big.
Well, and guess what? It just continued anyway. Whether I knew about it or not, the world kept her.
It's true.
That's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna get a close because believe it or not, we do actually have a little bit of a time.
Work calls.
So I like the ending of this segment. I think it's a very vulnerable way to end. So I used to feel grief toward an ending of a trip.
Really?
Speak to that. Do you feel that now? Do you not? How do you feel?
With trips like that, no. I mean, it's almost like finishing a really nice story for me, like a really nice book.
Yeah.
And this was a really good chapter. This was a really good book that we just finished. I really like that vacation.
I love coming home now.
Is it fun? I remember it as a kid, but as an adult now, watching the kids come home, but oh wow.
So I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't, and I don't even think as a kid, but I remember when vacations would end, even in university, medical school, residency, I had that grief, like, oh. And now when I come back from vacation, I love getting back to the routine. Like we unpacked our suitcases, almost completely done. All the laundry is almost completely done. Setting meals for the next week. But then seeing the joy of like, and this is how you know
Mhm.
that you find joy in your everyday life. If you're actually excited to come back to it.
Yeah.
And that you've actually taken the time to rest and recuperate. So it's interesting. I feel like this has almost given me the assurity that I'm enjoying my life, because at the end of a vacation, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go back.
Well, that's
I'm
cool.
good. I think it's a huge
You
180.
didn't have that?
No,
Huh.
it's
So
a
when you
huge
get
180.
home, like, because for me, like when I get
Oh,
home,
it'd
like
take me like 4 or 5 days to actually be like, oh,
I love the smell of the house when we walk in, and I love like going to my room and
yeah.
like having my bed and all my little stuff laid out. So like seeing the girls come home and like tinkering in the rooms, like, oh, that's there they are.
I mean, they slept way in this morning, which is not surprising. But I think both of them are like, I can't wait to get back to my bed and my stuffies and all of that. Okay, so obviously we're gonna go right back into it, right? Like I'm on call for 5 days this
Yeah.
week. You're on call for 6
I
or something like
leave
that.
in a couple
You
hours.
leave in a couple hours. The way, how do you think that when things get tough,
Mhm.
what do we like hold on to from this week? How do you use this week to propel you and propagate you through the hard things that come at work? Or do you?
No, I do. I
Yeah.
mean, it's you guys. Like I think about you. I think about the girls. I think about the trip, and I think that's my why, right?
Mhm.
That's why we do what we do. I get to love my why. I love my job. I love taking care of patients, but ultimately, no, it's for things like that.
Mhm. And I would say I find that talking to the kids about the trip and how much magic we were able to create in just the little things. Cozying up to, go to bed and sharing the bed with the kids. And when we cozy up together, or when we,
When we
kind of,
left them to go get we were putting the laundry on, changing it from the washer to the dryer. We're like, we're going to leave you two in the room. And their eyes got big. Like, what? You're going to leave us in the room? And
it
it's
was
like,
for
yeah,
6
you're going to be
minutes.
there for like 5 minutes. Okay. But do not answer the door no matter what.
Ugh.
What if a cleaner comes? Don't answer the door. Okay. What? And then, little one's trying to think of more things, situations where she may get to open the door. I'm like, under no circumstance, don't open the door, even if someone knocks. Okay, Dad, we get it. Says the kid, the young one mimics back. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to open the door. So we leave. Come back 5 minutes later. The lights are off. All of the shades are closed because there were like little like windows in this thing that that you could see into, but they're all closed now. Like, this is weird. Knock on the door. No answer. I'm like, all right, good. Use the card. Open it up. They pop out. They've created this little fort out of like mattress pillows.
Mattress pillows.
And they're hiding and they're like, Dad, we turned off all the lights and we made it so no one would know we were here. And we didn't answer the door. It was just cute.
It's
Like,
very cute.
so those are the little things that I did.
Yeah, I think so. And just recognizing that it's giving yourself permission to rest and be away.
Yeah.
And not feel guilt, and just know when you come back that you can be refreshed and rejuvenated.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
This is good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this was really enjoyable because it was timely. So if you're thinking to take that trek, book it.
Take a trip.
Enjoy it.
Cool.
Thanks for listening. Share this with someone. Like, subscribe, do all the things. See you
Bye.
next time.